What if I told you that 5,000 years ago, ancient architects weren't just building tombs, they were building biological tuning forks? Modern neuroscience has discovered a specific frequency, 110 Hz, hidden within the world's most sacred sites. It doesn't just echo, it actually hacks the human brain. Today, we're unraveling how the ancients used sound to alter consciousness. Welcome to Sutreya.
Deep inside the human brain, a biological response is waiting to be activated, and the trigger is a specific frequency of sound. Neuroscience identifies 110 Hz as a critical trigger. Exposed to this frequency, the analytical left temporal lobe goes quiet. Neural activity shifts dominance toward the right prefrontal areas. This alters chemical balance. Serotonin levels fall while mesolimbic dopamine increases, creating a sudden dopamine surge. 110 Hz is also the fundamental frequency of activity within the CA3 hippocampal region, an area of the brain vital for memory consolidation and the regulation of intense emotional states. A 110 Hz signal is a measurable biological trigger. Generating this sound forces a shift in hemispheric dominance and neurochemistry, inducing a predictable, altered state of consciousness. Modern labs rely on sophisticated clinical sensors and EEG readouts to track these invisible changes in human brain activity.
However, archaeological data confirms that human ancestors were generating this exact frequency to influence their own physiology more than 40,000 years ago. This raises a difficult question. How did prehistoric cultures map and manipulate brain chemistry using only stone and earth millennia before we understood the existence of neurons? The process likely began in places like the El Castillo cave system in Spain, where red ochre paintings mark specific chambers used for ritual activity. Paleolithic shamans discovered that the irregular natural geometry of these deep chambers inherently amplified specific low-frequency resonances. By positioning themselves in specific corners and chanting or drumming, they created an intense vibrational feedback loop. Low-frequency sound waves reflected off the limestone, enveloping everyone inside the space. This sustained acoustic pressure provided a reliable method for inducing trance states, relying on physical resonance rather than the consumption of psychoactive plants. Early humans identified a biological vulnerability in the brain. By aligning their voices with the natural resonance of the rock, they successfully manipulated their own internal chemistry using local geology. The shift from utilizing natural caves to building artificial chambers is evident in sites like the Hal Soflieni Hypogeum. Here, builders excavated and shaped massive limestone rooms to replicate those specific acoustic properties. Moving from natural discovery to architectural design required the development of specialized stonemasonry techniques and precision tools. Masons utilized heavy point chisels to fracture the raw stone, followed by claw chisels to shape the macrogeometry of the chambers. Every angle was dictated by how it moved the sound. The refinement stage involved flat chisels and abrasive slurries of quartz sand to smooth the stone surfaces, creating a dense, highly reflective finish capable of bouncing sound waves without losing intensity. The masons worked by ear, listening to the pitch of the hammer strike against the stone. This feedback allowed them to gauge the density and resonance of the wall as they worked. They continued to shave and polish the stone until the structure achieved a precise resonance of 110 Hz, creating a room that vibrates in sympathy with the human brain. Ancient stonemasonry functioned as a form of acoustic engineering, where the final shape of the stone was designed solely to capture a mind-altering frequency. When viewed through this lens, sites like Stonehenge appear as more than just burial grounds or astronomical markers. These stone circles and hypogea functioned as large-scale acoustic filters, constructed to synchronize the brain activity of anyone standing within their walls. The specific requirements of acoustic resonance forced ancient builders to refine their craftsmanship, pushing the limits of tool-making and stone shaping to achieve precise subterranean tuning. Modern imaging has finally validated these prehistoric methods. We now know that the biohacking techniques used by our ancestors were grounded in the physical realities of neurobiology. The modern brain still retains the hardware to respond to these frequencies, even as the knowledge required to tune our architecture to them has faded from memory.
The ancients understood a truth we are only now relearning, that our environment and our biology are deeply intertwined. If you want to keep pulling on these threads of timeless wisdom, make sure to hit the subscribe button and join our community here at Sutreya. I want to hear from you. Do you think this resonance was a coincidence of architecture or a deliberate technology of the mind? Let's discuss it in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and keep seeking the threads that bind us all.